What's up everybody, back with another video today. And at the time of that you're watching this, World Shorebirds Day was yesterday, a day to celebrate the diversity and the conservation of shorebirds from around the world. Now, at the time of recording this, I'm probably about a month early to the shorebird game, but they're still moving through here. I'm in my home county of Cache County. We're taking a break from the Utah 300 Challenge, but don't go anywhere because I'm also 3 birds away from hitting 200 in my home county. So let's see if we can find any birds. A lot of the ones missing are shorebirds, and let's see what's out there. Well, it's hard to have shorebirds when you don't have any water. These ponds, they're used by the city, but unfortunately they're pretty much empty, and there's not any shorebirds or life out there at all. This has been a big issue for Utah this year. We've had months without significant rain. If you go to the Salt Lake, it's the same story. The Salt Lake has been drying up for years, but this year it has dropped significantly, entering an emergency status that the state has set, and they're trying to get water back into it. I have a friend that I'm meeting up with. I'm gonna see what he wants to do. We were just gonna come here and scan for shorebs today and then do a bigger excursion on the weekend, but there's no water here, so I don't know. We'll see if we can find anything interesting, but this is looking kind of grim. Although there was not much water, there was still life all around us, including this northern harrier. One of the best sights of the day was this belted kingfisher, banging a small fish against a branch and anxiously waiting to gobble it down. Perched on a wooden post was a lone cedar waxwing. These birds are so cool with their black masks and bright highlighter tail and wingtips. A black-crowned night heron launched itself from the tall grass in what was left of the water. Another highlight of the trip was the solitary sandpiper. It took me so long to find this lifer last year, and I've only seen 1 or 2 since. I think these birds are subtly beautiful with the white rings surrounding their eye and the speckled light spots on its wings. Eventually it got tired of us and flew off to a new bank. A decent-sized flock of American white pelicans soaked themselves in the deeper water. Unfortunately, we did not find many shorebirds, and it was time to move on to another day. Good morning, everybody. It's day 2 of this Cache County adventure, and if I didn't mention it earlier, I'm at 197 birds for the county. My goal this year was to hit 200, and it's actually kind of funny because all the way back in around January or February, I hit 197. Well, I'm still at 197 because I've only gone birding in Cache County a handful of times this year. Last year, I birded here a ton, but this year I've just been birding all over the state, obviously out in Oregon as well, and in California. That's really made it difficult for me to get these last 3 birds. So today, that is our goal. We have about 5 targets to find. Right now I'm at Benson Marina, and there's been a sage thrasher that's been here for a couple days. I don't have that bird for Cache County. That's a tough bird to find out here, actually. Only like 1 showed up last year, 1 or 2 showed up last year, and there's been 1 here for a couple days. So hopefully we can find that, and then I'll let you know our other targets as we move along. A Clark's grebe swam past me. Remember, the white goes above the eye, and it has a deep yellow bill. A western kingbird perched itself in the glowing light, waiting for the insects to take flight. All right, so already a detour today. There still is, a hawk perched out there, and I walked all the way to the fence line where I can't go, and if I did, I'd be trespassing, to get photos and video of this bird. It's really difficult for me to tell what it is, so I'm gonna have to look at it in post, maybe send it to a few people. I mean, it could very well just be a red-tailed hawk, but something just seems off about it, so I'm going to hold on to that and see if we have something interesting there. We're almost to where the sage thrasher was seen, so after about a 15-minute detour of me trying to identify this hawk, let's see if we can find our target bird. Yellow warblers are adorable, and I rarely get views better than this. Hopping across the path was a lark sparrow, foraging for its food on the ground. In the distance stood the coolest raptor on Earth, the osprey. These birds are in a genus all their own, and they're optimized for fishing. I got more views of a Clark's grebe cutting through the calm surface of the water. Excitedly, I brought my viewfinder to my eyes, only to find a scrawny American robin looking back at me. I truly thought that I had found the sage thrasher. This time of year is tough for birding. Migrating birds do move through areas, making for some exciting encounters. But otherwise, late summer and fall is really difficult. Many birds are in their non-breeding plumage, which leads to more ID challenges, and they're also nearly silent as they fly through. I always remember to use the time to improve my own birding skills, but sometimes it's just okay to take a little break. So no sign so far of the sage thrasher. I'm about halfway, about at the point where people said that it's been hanging out and I haven't been able to see it anywhere. So that's how birding goes sometimes. Sometimes you walk right up and it's there. Sometimes you have to do a little extra work and sometimes it's gone. The hawk species though, that was up on the telephone pole, I texted some friends and I took some closer looks at the picture as well. And we've come to the conclusion that it's a ferruginous hawk, which is absolutely incredible. I already have that bird for the year and in Cache County as well. And obviously I have the bird for the county, but I don't get to see ferruginous hawks too often compared to things like red-tailed hawks and Swainson's hawks. So I'll take a ferruginous hawk any day. That's obviously the highlight of the trip so far, but we're gonna continue walking down this trail and hopefully the sage thrasher pops out. Honestly, the morning was perfect. It was nice and cool near the water. A great blue heron stood silently, waiting to strike its snake-like head at any moment. In the distance, a hot air balloon descended into a farmer's field. Sandhill cranes fled the scene just below as this foreign object entered their realm. We made it to the end of the trail where the sage thrasher was seen, and unfortunately we didn't see it. I'm not gonna give up. We're gonna head back the same way that we came. The sun was in my eyes on the way out here, so maybe we missed it. That's a possibility, and maybe we could also get some other birds on camera that were backlit by the sun before. So we're gonna head back the same way, and then we have a few more stops to hit today. Of course, still trying to hit that 200 mark, but this is a big blow to that goal. Reaching the end of the path, I watched as bank and barn swallows flocked to barbed wire for a rest from their endless journeys. I crossed the rickety bridge once again, making my way back to my vehicle. Red-winged blackbirds are so cool. They're jet black besides a red and yellow stripe on their shoulders, providing the perfect splash of color to this otherwise nondescript bird. Again, I was fooled by an American robin perching up on a branch, thinking it was my elusive sage thrasher. A bird I hardly ever get good looks of, the common yellowthroat, perched out in the open and showed itself off to the camera. These birds are warblers, and they favor marshes. It's also the first bird call I ever nailed down. I looked up in the sky as I heard the familiar croaking call of sandhill cranes flying over. These two are making their way south gradually for the winter. All right, so already walking the way back has paid off because we've gotten a new bird for the day, Tyrannus, also known as the eastern kingbird. I love these birds. They're black on top, white on the bottom. The contrast is absolutely stunning, and they're less common than the western kingbird out here, so really happy to pick that bird up today. I actually got one here last year at the exact same hotspot for my Cache County yearbird. So I don't know if this is a yearbird for Cache County. I actually believe it is because I haven't done hardly any birding out here, but it's absolutely incredible to pick up this bird. Well, we didn't get it. We did not get the sage thrasher. In fact, that bird is now becoming a Cache County nemesis. It's the third time I've gone looking for one and third time failing it. So that's not great. That's not ideal for today's goal of hitting 200 species in the county, but we still have like 4 months until the end of the year, and I wanted to hit 200 by the end of the year. We have a few more stops to hit just to see if we can pick up any of the other targets. This was probably the most secure one that I was banking on finding, but we still found some really cool birds regardless. So let's head to the next stop and see if we can find anything. On my way to the next stop, I found more sandhill cranes. These ones were slowly making their way across the landscape. I then arrived at Kings Nature Park, which had recently been threatened by fire just hours before. I walked the winding dirt paths looking for the black-throated gray warbler and Plumbeus vireo. A surprising osprey flew over the mouth of the canyon. I say surprising because there's not much water in this area, although these birds can travel pretty far from the regular fishing spots. I watched as a western tanager gobbled up its food, some type of wasp, from the shelter of the surrounding branches. I'm here at Kings Nature Park. Every time I come here, I get skunked, despite there being really cool birds in the area, but not today. We picked up our target, black-throated gray warbler, silently making its way through the trees. Only got some brief looks at it, but it is indeed a black-throated gray warbler. Let's go. I watched as the black-throated gray warbler weaved through the juniper needles in branches staying heavily obscured from view. Below my gaze, I caught sight of this spotted towhee, another skulky bird that I wasn't expecting to get great views of today. Super pleased with the black-throated gray warbler. Bird number 198 for Cache County. I just need just two more birds to hit that 200 mark. I'm currently sitting here because the second target at this spot is a Plumbeus vireo. The problem is that nothing is singing this time of year for the most part. Nothing that I need, at least. It makes it a lot more difficult to find even a black-throated gray warbler. I just got lucky. It was just in the tree above me. Plumbeus vireo, they're really tiny birds, kind of skulky. It's gonna be really difficult if they're not singing to pick those out. So I'll hang out here for a little while longer. If we could pick out one more, we'd have 199 birds. We only need one more to hit our 200 mark. I made my way back towards the parking lot hoping to get views of a Plumbeus vireo. Instead, I caught sight of a male western tanager peeking its head out of the branches above. Got more views at the black-throated gray warbler. Now this bird is special just because, one, most warblers are difficult to get on camera, but number two, this is only the third or fourth time I've ever featured this bird on the channel. So definitely an awesome bird to pick up. Beautiful white black coloration with a little yellow lore. Still no luck on the Plumbeus vireo, so we're still sitting at 198. I'm gonna make my way back towards the vehicle. Hopefully we pick up the Plumbeus vireo on the way back. I know they've been seen just down the hill in people's yards, so they've gotta be up here, but I'm just not getting lucky in finding them. So we'll start heading back and hopefully we can pick one more bird up, two if it's a miracle. We didn't end up finding the Plumbeus vireo like we wanted to, but we did end up finding one of our 5 targets, the black-throated gray warbler. So that was absolutely incredible. I promised you in the last video that I would make an announcement of something that's mostly going to impact my life, but it's also going to impact the channel a little bit. Leela, my partner, is 9 months pregnant, and at this moment in time that I'm recording this, she could have her baby any day, but she's definitely going to have it within the next 2 weeks. I'm a girl dad again. I have one daughter already, she's almost 4, and another daughter on the way. We're absolutely ecstatic for this to happen. There could be no better news or things happening in my life right now. I've worked tirelessly over the last couple weeks to make sure that there isn't a lapse in the channel, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. So the videos have been over a month pushed out into the future. So most of what you see going on has happened previously. I always put the date in the description near the bottom. But you probably might not see as much activity from me in the comments over the next couple weeks at least. Or maybe I'll adjust really quickly and you won't see any difference whatsoever. That's why the videos have been near my home the last couple weeks, because again, the baby could be coming any day now. I appreciate all of your support over the last couple years on the channel, and especially recently. I'm extremely excited for baby to come, and it's gonna be a fantastic fall moving forward. If you'd like to support my adventures, you can check out my merch or my membership program. Links will be in the description below. Also go check out Bright Eyed Birding Learn. I've been posting weekly videos there with ID tips and species spotlights and just a whole bunch of educational content that I think you'll really enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope to see you all next time on Bright Eyed Birding.